All right, we are going to start with this iPad. We're going to replace the charging port. So we're going to probably do different videos because this repair involves quite a bit of stuff. We have to remove the screen, the glass first, and then the screen, and then the motherboard. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to preheat the screen. Just let it sit for a little bit. Use the isopropyl alcohol. Use the isopropyl alcohol and then just wait for it to get a little hot and remove the screen. So let's just wait for a little bit. We'll let you know when it's ready. Alright, it looks like the screen is warm enough. So we want to try to use the little suction cup. Sometimes this helps, sometimes they don't, depending what we have to do. And we want to use some rubbing alcohol around it just to help that. And then we're going to start with pulling a little bit like this so the alcohol goes inside it and start doing its work. There, apply a little more. Just to create the gap. Okay, and I'm just going to use the little pry tool to go under. And just go around. Just take your time. This one might take some time to do, but if you do it properly, you'll get it done. Just a little lift. As you can see, it's coming apart. Just like you need to go a few times. You can use your nail if you have strong nails. And a little bit more of rubbing alcohol to help. Alright, and now I'm going to use my pry tool to start opening this side. This is the important side. This one right here has some Let me just put it this way. Couple more minutes to warm up. And we shut down the heat. Alright, so we're going to start the repair of this. We're going to do the replacement. That's the charging port replacement for this iPad. It's a 9 generation iPad. So we're gonna preheat our iPad, and we're gonna use some isopropyl alcohol to go around and remove it. So make sure it's gonna be nice and warm. We're gonna use the little suction cup, and we have a couple of screwdrivers. Okay, I'm gonna apply a little bit of isopropyl alcohol around, and just carefully lift. Just a suction cup, and then lift a little bit. Just like this. Once it's nice and hot, I'm gonna put a little bit of I'm going to start lifting with a pry tool slowly. Then we can use our nail and a little bit more of isopropyl. Okay, just taking your time. Okay, the pry tool. Just be careful not to go too deep so you don't touch the LCD. Okay, and now you can see there is like a flex cable right there. You don't need to go too deep into it, otherwise you will damage it. Okay, I'm going to apply okay, we are going to grab this to make sure it's going to be nice and in place so it doesn't go back together. And then now we're going from the bottom or the top part, and then start doing the pry tool. Careful not to go too deep because there are some components that might you might damage a little bit, taking your time. Okay, now we're gonna start at the opposite side. And lift. Being very careful and try not to go too deep. Okay, try a little more over here. Okay. All right, and then we are going to try to put another plastic on this end. Right there, just to help out. Okay, and let's check this out. So we have all right, so now that we have been able to get this out, we're gonna stop our heat. Just carefully lifting this one out, and it should probably just keep it that way. And then now we're going to have to remove 4 screws that are holding the LCD in order for us to get down under it, and then remove disconnect the battery and remove the motherboard. So always keep track of your screws. Alright, and there's going to be a couple under here. Be careful not to touch the LCD, otherwise it's going to take, it's kind of hard to clean, so just be careful with that. I mean, see, there's one screw right there. I took it down there, and there is another one. Under here. All right, so now we're going to need to careful with this torch, and let me grab something to rest it.
Then we also kind of tried to upgrade to Windows 11.
Yeah. All right, so I have this pile of hard drives in there. I use them to help me out with this, to keep this straight like that. Okay, so with this one, sometimes these are kind of, they have some sticky stuff in there, so it's kind of hard to lift them. Now you gotta be careful not to force it, otherwise you might bend the LCD and you don't want to do that. So we want to apply a little bit of ISO. Right there.
Hello, hello. I'm here to get my device. For the Dell? Nope. Nope, it's
All right, and we continue with this repair. So we had a customer here, and as you know, customers first. Anyway, so we have this one. As you can see, the screen bends, it's like super fragile, so you don't want to force it. So just use the less pressure you can. Otherwise you end up breaking it. Let me see. Try this one right here. There we go. There we go. That one is done. Little corners are. There we go. Now the problem is going to be here in the back. We remove the screws, and then we're going to do the same with just a little corner. Maybe I need a flathead screwdriver. There we go. It looks like that one helped a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't. All right, we'll just try a little bit. Super. Let's try different angle. Let's try a little bit of ISO. That might help a little bit. It's just the screen is so fragile that I don't want to bend it more and make lines. See, it's super glued in there. Like I said, I have gotta be careful, so I'm just gonna keep trying. There we go. I don't know why it's so. Let's try the other side. I cannot believe how hard this is going to be to lift. It's not giving up. Something is stuck under it. Just gonna put a little bit more of ISO. Nope. Need something thinner, smaller. Let's try this one right here. Something stuck in there. It's not giving up. There it comes. Just like that. There we go. And then now we have the screws over here. So what we want to do is going to remove the screws. So we can remove the LCD. Alright, once we got this one right here, gotta make sure to lift this one and then just remove it and then put it with the screws so you know where the screws go. And then we just lift this one there we go. And we have the LCD out. This is going to be the battery. Just going to keep it there for right now, and we're going to put this one over here. Alright, so this is how you remove the screen. From an iPad 9th generation. This is how you remove it. And then now we're going to remove the digitizer or the touch. Alright, and then we should be able to lift it. Okay, be careful because there's another connector over here, and that's going to be for this one. So that one we're just going to put it over here because it goes over here, and we're going to use a little bit of ISO to peel it. There we go. We want to remove let me grab my other tweezers. Keep that one with it. I'm just gonna lift this one right here, just like a little tab, and then it was like that. And then now we should be able to lift the touch digitizer. We put it on the side just to make sure we got it done. This one we don't need it because we're going to apply a new one, but we must peel it just like this. Alright, so we have this one out. Now we are going to start working on getting the motherboard out, which is going to be a lot of connections. So there's going to be a couple of connections here. The charging port is going to be down here. So in order for us to do that, we need to remove the whole motherboard. So let's try doing that. Alright, now I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to remove these 3 screws over here. Alright, and always keep track of your screws and your parts. There we go. I'm just gonna keep this little plate over here, and then there is a couple of screws under here. Kind of hard to see. These are the Star Phillips screws. Get it out of there. Those need to come off. And again, gonna keep it over here with the other one. And we have the screw. The second one. Alright, so now we have to remove all this to get to the motherboard. So we're gonna use some isopropyl alcohol to remove it. Just gonna let it sit, and there's like a lot of connectors that need to be removed, so I'm gonna let the alcohol work. And then I'll get back to you guys. Careful not to put any isopropyl in the camera. Just let it sit and we'll be back. Alright, so we're gonna start from this part up here, and we're gonna use our plastic exposure, this one. So let's see, so this one is gonna be a connector over here. Alright, let's see if we can remove the entire. I'm gonna apply also a little bit of heat. For the camera, I'm going to use a little camera protector. I think it's going to be one of. All right, and we are going to proceed with a charging port replacement for this iPad. As you can see, it's the same one, it's just different color, but that one is exact same. It's the same ports and everything. So we are gonna do this one, and now there is like some glue right there, this area right here. So what we're gonna do is just try to split it from there. There we go, just like this. Should come off. That way we can lift the charging port without damaging any of the pads. We're going to use a little bit of a soldering paste. We're just going to do just a little bit. We don't need a lot. That should be plenty. Cover paste, and now we're gonna do spread that around. You want to apply a little bit of flux. I'm going to need to get a new one because this one is getting too very hard. So what I'm gonna do is just try to get very little. It's coming out. We don't need a lot anyway. And we are going to help should be enough. We want to grab our We're just gonna wait for the heat to do its job. Should come off anytime soon. It looks this out. It's just like a little some kind of glue in there. It should come off soon. Alright, it looks like it should be out. Is the glue was keeping it. See. Alright. So that part is out. Can put a little bit of light in there. And that should help a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to remove this glue. Oops. And do a little cleanup. I'm going to grab a little bit out. Alright, so just a little bit of isopropyl. Once that board is nice and cool, do all the cleaning. Alright, just like a little more cleaning to make sure everything is nice and clean in there and ready for the new one. So we have the old port right here and we have the new one in here. So now for this, we are going to apply a little bit of flux. just like so. I'm gonna apply some heat. To those pads. All right. Just a little bit like that, and we're going to apply some air. Just like so. And we want to do a little cleanup. And let it cool a little bit. To remove the excess. And then now we want to apply a little bit more ISO to clean it. This is just for the pads to have enough solder to stay in place. Alright, that's how it looks. Alright, and there's no breaches. Alright, so let's clean this out. Since we are on almost the last step, need to make sure this one is nice and clean. We'll let it cool. We're going to apply a little bit of flux. Just one more time. Just to be very tiny, very little. Okay, I used a little bit more of heat to make sure those pads are nice. See how they turn shiny, so it means they're like nice and ready to get the new I'm gonna remove this, and now we need to center make sure it's gonna be nice and centered. It's gonna be a little hard to do because this one has like a little holes right there, so it's going to be a little hard to do it because we don't have a guide. Alright, and I am back here. Sorry it took a little time to figure this out, but I think I have I did good after all. So the problem with this one's to align it is just super hard. So this one right here has like a little pinhole, or it's just like a little pin on the board, and up here is like a little plastic thing, so you cannot see through. What I did is just like I make a little hole. This is the pin I'm talking about, this one right here. So what I did, this one and this one right here need to align, right? So what I did on this one into the new one, for me to be able to see those little holes, I went under and then I make like a little hole right there, just like the little hole, so I was able to see the under. Okay, so now after doing that, I just went and did a couple of pins, just to secure the charging port in place, right? So as you can see, these little pins, now I can see them through, because I make like a little hole, tiny hole in there, so I was able to see the alignment. Now we are going to apply a little bit of flux, just a little bit, we don't need a lot. Just a little bit, so I can, to help out the heating process. Just like so, just a little bit, sorry, we don't need a lot. And then now we want to make sure, I know this thing is in place now, but we're gonna have to keep it in place. So we're gonna start from here, and just go little by little, making sure all the pins are nice and secure. Alright, so now that one is done, I'll start from one side, just like this, applying the heat, a little bit of pressure, so we keep everything done. Nice and in place. Make sure it's solder. There we go. All right, it's looking way better now. All right, that's how it looks. Okay. All right, so that should do it. As you can see right there, that's how it looks. We want to clean it, make sure there is no breaches. All right, so we want to use a bit of isopropyl. And start cleaning. Alright, there's like a little paint coming off there, but it shouldn't matter. Alright, and that should be good. Let's just test it. Power's on, should be good. Alright, so we are going to start. We put everything back together. I put the motherboard back in place. I make sure all the connections are in place. So I hate to do this. I forgot to start my camera, and I'm just gonna keep this little, maybe something smaller. Just a little bit of like a little plastic to keep the battery connector from touching, and then I'm gonna start putting the rest in place. So in this case, we are going to start with the touch the digitizer. So we are going to just put it like right here. Okay, so it's right here. And just like this, we're going to put the connectors back in place. This sometimes get a little challenging. Takes a few minutes or a few tries to get it nice and in place. And pretty much it's by feeling, so you don't have to force it. Just try to as soon as you know you hit the right spot for it, the connector should go in back in place, just like that. Make sure push down, making sure it's good. Now we're gonna have to get the second one. Yeah, it gets a little. There we go. And just like that. So we have the digitizer connector, and now we want to do the home button. So now we're going to get our tweezers. Make sure that's up like that, and then make sure it's going to be nice and tight. Okay, it looks like it's in place. Then now we push that one down. I'm gonna put this little thing back in place. It's a little sticker. We're gonna put the sticker in there, just like so. This one is already. Make sure this one is going just like that, and we are going to place the little piece right here. That's the one to keep the ribbon in place. All right, so now we are going to start with the screen. Just lift it like this, and then we find the right angle for the connector. And push down. All right, so now it's time to test everything. Push the battery down a little bit and see if we have power. I'm gonna connect our power. Give it a few seconds to see if it's going to power on. And we have power. So replacing the charging port worked on this one, and I can check on my device, my little device right here. We are having some numbers right there. So looking good. I'm gonna try to just put this one down a little bit. Home button is working. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Delete, delete, delete. 4, 5, 6. Delete, delete, delete. 7, 8, 9. Delete. Delete. 0, 0, 0. Delete, delete, delete. So it's working. We put sleep button is good. Power and wake set up. Press the home button to unlock. There we go. So now we have to put everything back in place. The tablet shut down because right now probably the charging port is not, or the battery connector is not fully plugged in place. So that's what we want right now, because we have other screws to put back in place. So we want to remove the screen again, and we want to have to clean it nicely. So let me grab my spray tool. And just carefully doing this. Boom, just like that. Again, we used a little plastic to prevent. Now the connectors are under here. Some people put something in there, but if you do that, sometimes you bend the connector. So I will recommend you doing it just like this, and from there it should be good. We are going to try to put everything back together the way it is, all the little screws, and we can go from there. Alright, so we are going to start putting everything back in place. We are going to start that this is very important to keep track of your screws and all your connectors and your plates, so you know where they go. And of course, put the screw where it belongs, same spot. Okay, we have this one right here, more in there. There we go. Everything's in place. Now we are going to start with the connectors under the charging port. Making sure it's nice and tight, because that will become loose if you don't make them tight. Okay. There. Now we have 4 more screws right here. They go back to the same place. There. So we have that one. Alright, so now what we have left is going to be for the plate over here. Make sure all your connectors are in place. Everything seems to be good. Now we are going to install the screen. And I'm gonna clean it after everything is back in place. Alright, so this one is a little tricky sometimes, but not too bad. Okay. Sorry you guys are not going to be able to see it, but just finding the right spot. Goes in there. Just let it sit. Making sure it's going to be nice and in place. Now that all the connectors are in place, it's time for us to remove to connect the battery. Making sure it's nice and tight. Gonna the bracket, the little bracket goes in there to keep all the connectors in place. We start with a little screw. There we go. And we need one more. Everything seems to be in place. All right, now we're going to put the screws. For the screen. And then before I put everything back in place, meaning the screen and the LCD and the touchscreen or the digitizer, I'm gonna test, make sure it's gonna charge. There we go. And we are going to either press the power button or the, we have power. Before the computer or the tablet wasn't even plugging in or connecting, powering on, because it didn't have any battery. There was no power going in. So we have that. Now we are going to test it. So, oops. Okay, delete. Power button works. 1, 2, 3. Delete, delete, delete. 4, 5, 6. Delete, delete, delete. 79. Delete, delete, delete. 0, 0, 0. Cancel. All right. So the button works. Now the battery is at 9%. It's charging. Seems like the indicator is connected. There is the little lightning bolt. All right, so we continue with this. As you can see now, let's see, we have a battery charge, 65%. Charge for a little bit. And home button works. Just do the touchpad is working. We're trying to see if we can test. So general sounds, silent mode. There we go. So the speakers are working. ringtone, everything still works. So now what we are going to do is just clean the LCD because I got some dust. I'm working on other computers and unfortunately got some dust, and then we are going to put everything back together, the glue, and it should be good to go today. So let's put this thing to sleep. Alright, Wi-Fi is working, and I almost forgot about Alright, so we continue with the cleaning. Making sure it's gonna be nice and clean. I always recommend not to touch the screens because these get really hard to clean. But if it has to be done, place a little bit of water. Just a little bit of wet towel. Clean it. Always without touching the camera. There we go. Now I'm gonna use the clean one. A little bit of rubbing alcohol, and this will do the job. Just in some little spots that be visible for the customer. Making sure it's going to be nice and clean. All right. Cleaning the touch digitizer. Then we're going to start applying the glue here. I think it's a little dry. It's supposed to come out.
Hello. How you doing? I called earlier.
Alright, so once we have all this stuff right here, we put the glue. We're gonna press this down, making sure it's gonna be nice and flat. And then I normally do this one. I go around to clean the excess right away, otherwise it gets messy. It gets dry very fast, and if we don't get it done right away, it's gonna see. Just clean the excess around it, pushing down, and then to make it a little bit easier, at the end I used a little bit of isopropyl. And just like this. Just to clean the frame. The rest will be at the end from the glass. This. Now we need to cut this one before because if we peel it after, we might pull it out. Just like that. Nice and clean. Alright, so I find out that there's like a spot right here inside. So I'm gonna have to open, probably touch the, I touched the digitizer, and it's a big spot right there. Actually a couple of them. Yep, it's from the inside. So I'm gonna have to do that. So anyway, the way I do it is just like finish putting this, cleaning around, and when it's nice and flat, I will just I will just put either some rubber bands like this all around, or just like this to keep this one, and I'm gonna put another one over here. Or in other cases, what I can do, since I have something a little bit heavier, put a little towel just like this, and then 2 of these, and then 1 more on top to keep it down. That one should work. It's enough pressure, but right now this is the end of the video. I'm gonna remove the screen again just to make sure. I need to clean those spots inside because they're not coming off. Yeah, it's inside, so probably touch the glass from the inside, and that's why. That's the only spot right there. The rest looks fine. So alright, thanks for watching.